Tragic accident, Apollo 13. Imagine being 200,000 miles away from Earth in the cold and harsh vacuum of space. Suddenly your spacecraft shudders and a warning light flashes. You hear the words no astronaut wants to hear, "Houston, we've had a problem." Apollo 13, which was supposed to be the third ever moon landing, turned into a rescue mission. What went wrong? How did the crew survive and land on Earth despite destroying their rocket? It's a harrowing tale of survival, teamwork, and relentless spirit. Apollo 13 is famously known as a successful failure. Let's explore the heart-wrenching moments and aftermath of this event. Apollo 13 wasn't just another mission in NASA's lineup, it symbolized human ambition and the relentless pursuit of the unknown. The world was excited after the historic success of Apollo 11, where humans first set foot on the moon, and the subsequent Apollo 12 mission. The space race was in full swing, and America led the charge, showcasing its determination to explore the final frontier. Apollo 13 took off on April 11, 1970 from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. It was America's third mission aimed at landing humans on the moon. The crew consisted of 3 seasoned astronauts, Jim Lovell, Fred Heisey, and Jack Swigert. Lovell was the mission commander, a Navy captain with calm behavior. Heisey, the lunar module pilot, was an engineer with a knack for problem solving. Swigert, the command module pilot, was a last-minute replacement but no less qualified. The stage was set for another triumphant chapter in America's space exploration story. The mission's objectives were clear: to land in the Fra Mauro region of the moon, conduct experiments, collect samples, and return safely to Earth. Scientists believed the Fra Mauro region would offer insights into the moon's early volcanic activity. For nearly 56 hours after the mission was launched, it looked like the smoothest flight of NASA's Apollo program. The crew finished a TV broadcast at 9 p.m. on April 13th about the spacecraft. "This is the crew of Apollo 13 wishing everybody there a nice evening," said Lovell. Less than 10 minutes later, the serenity of space shattered. The spacecraft went awry after a routine maintenance task and caused the oxygen tanks to explode. Apollo 13 carried 2 liquid hydrogen tanks and 2 liquid oxygen tanks. These were meant to power the fuel cells that generated the most electricity during flight. Their explosion had compromised the fuel cells, cutting the only source of electricity and potable water. A spark from the damaged heating element ignited the insulation inside the tank. It exploded, causing a chain reaction that crippled the spacecraft, turning a peaceful mission into a desperate fight for survival. The crew was now facing a grim reality with oxygen leaking into space and systems failing. They heard a loud bang on the mission nearly 200,000 miles from Earth. Warning lights flashed and the spacecraft began to lose power. Swigert told Mission Control, "Houston, we've had a problem." The phrase would become iconic, but it signaled a life-or-death crisis at that moment. After 13 minutes of explosion, Lovell glanced out the window and saw something else that worsened the situation. "We are venting something out into space," he reported. "It's a gas of some sort." The explosion had also damaged the other tank because the 2 oxygen tanks were in the same spacecraft segment. The command module's standard electricity, light, and water supply was gone. They might not make it back. What do you think? NASA's finest minds came into action with the clock ticking and oxygen levels continuously dropping. Ground controllers in Houston initiated an urgent survival mission. The Apollo 13 crew used their lunar lander Aquarius as a makeshift lifeboat to survive the tough journey back to Earth. Aquarius is a separate landing module from the Odyssey command module. For 90 hours, the lifeboat sustained the crew members Lovell, Swigert, and Heisey with non-essential systems turned off to save energy. The crew crafted a makeshift mailbox from bags, cardboard, and tape to purge the gas, facing a diverse carbon dioxide buildup. Lovell later recalled this memory. "Hose, duct tape, and an old sock, and my gosh, time was the one thing that kept us from dying." What happened next? It was beyond expectations. Do you know the mission was declared a successful failure? Apollo 13 made it back to Earth successfully. Are you curious to know the whole mystery? The point to ponder is, how did the crew manage to land on Earth? Hit the bell button to get notified about the latest updates regarding these disasters. What were the lessons learned from this mission? Keep watching as we are going to reveal it. Millions around the globe were glued to their TVs praying for the safety of crew members. After Odyssey was powered back up on April 17th, the crew ejected the lunar module to prepare for the final stages of their journey to Earth. The world held its breath as the spacecraft re-entered Earth's atmosphere, disappearing from radar for an agonizing few minutes due to an ionization blackout. Finally, the relieving sight of 3 parachutes rolling in the sky signaled the safe return of Apollo 13. On April 17, 1970, the spacecraft splashed in the Pacific Ocean near Samoa at 11:53 a.m. The crew was exhausted but alive due to their skill, teamwork, and unyielding spirit, coupled with the relentless efforts of the ground team. The mission to land the 3rd time on the moon was declared a successful failure. What were the reasons behind the explosion of the spacecraft? NASA's investigation revealed that during the maintenance before the Apollo 10 mission, an oxygen tank on board Apollo 13 had been accidentally dropped. This caused slight internal damage that didn't show up in later inspections. The reinstalled tank failed to empty itself of oxygen during testing in 1970 properly. The testing team decided to heat the tank overnight to solve this problem. A power surge from the high-voltage DC system on the ground turned off switches. This caused the temperature to rise dangerously, damaging the insulation of wires inside the tank and creating a potential explosion hazard. It was turning the tank into a bomb waiting to explode. The mission is recalled as an example of the dangers of space travel and of innovative minds working in NASA together to save lives on the fly. Apollo 13's mission celebrated its 50th anniversary on April 11, 2020. The invaluable lessons learned from the Apollo 13 mission led NASA to label it a successful failure. From Apollo 14 onwards, every spacecraft was equipped with an extra battery and a 3rd backup oxygen tank, positioned separately from the primary tanks, dedicated solely to the astronauts' breathing needs. In the subsequent 8 Apollo missions, no similar incidents were reported. We will keep you posted with the latest disaster updates and news. Just hit this channel's like and subscribe buttons at your place. Keep us posted in comments if you're up to following our upcoming story. We would love to hear from you. Until next time.